So good afternoon everyone. Let us start. Remember we have been learning chapter 15 Life on the Earth, and today we will discuss the last part of this chapter, that is ecological balance. Now I shall present my screen. So this is the topic, ecological balance. Okay, so ecological balance, it's given here. Ecological balance is a state of dynamic equilibrium within a community of organisms in a habitat or ecosystem. So ecological balance is the state of dynamic equilibrium. Dynamic means changing from time to time. Okay, equilibrium means balance within a community, within a group of organisms in a habitat, okay, or ecosystem. So here the habitat may be a forest. Okay, and see, actually this ecological balance is the achievement of a steady state by an ecosystem. The achievement of an steady state by an ecosystem is known as ecological balance. However, this theoretical concept of ecological balance is rarely accomplished in practice, as the controlling factors or the forces such as climate and the soil rarely remain constant. Climate, soil, actually it changes from time to time. It does not remain constant, and ecosystem takes some time to adjust to change, and that is why we use this term dynamic equilibrium. Okay, and ecological balance can happen when the diversity of living organisms remains relatively stable. Means when the number of organisms remain stable. Okay, say for example the number of a particular species. For example, the number of tiger remain constant, the number of deer remain constant. Okay, and so in that case we will achieve this ecological balance, and gradual changes do take place, but that happens only through natural succession. Okay, as a part of a natural process, there is a gradual changes, okay, in the diversity of living organism, but that is a natural succession. And ecological balance can also be explained as a stable balance in the number of species in the ecosystem. Just as I told you earlier, it is a stable balance. Ecological balance is a stable balance in the number of species, in an ecosystem. As I told you, the number of these eagles must remain constant. The number of vultures must remain constant. Okay, likewise the number of these wild animals, each of the wild animals must remain constant. If there is change in the number, okay, then there may be ecological imbalance, and this occurs through the competition and cooperation between different organisms where population remains stable. Okay, so ecological balance occurs through competition and cooperation between different organisms where population remains stable. Now let us see how. So this balance is brought about by the fact that certain species compete with the another, determined by the environment in which they grow. And this balance, ecological balance, is also attained by the fact that some species depend on the others for their food and the sustenance. Okay, say for example, tigers, lions depend on these herbivores, okay, for their food. And such accounts are encountered in vast grasslands where the herbivorous animals like deer, zebra, buffaloes, etc. are found in plenty. And on the other hand, the carnivorous animals like tiger, lions, etc. that are not usually in large number hunt and feed on the herbivores and thereby controlling their population. Okay, and this is how ecological balance is maintained. See, if there is no predators, carnivores like tigers, then lion, then the number of herbivores will increase day by day. The number of deer will increase day by day, zebra will increase day by day, buffaloes and other wild animals, herbivores will increase day by day. If there were no carnivores, and if there were no carnivores, then the number of herbivores will increase, then the whole grassland on the earth also maybe disappeared. So it is because of these carnivores that we have a balance. The number of herbivores, the number of deers, the number of buffaloes and cows are set, controlled by the carnivores. So in this way we get ecological balance. Okay, and in the plants, okay, so here let me give you one example also. Say for example about this is a terrestrial food chain, and if you remove, say for example, mouse, okay, or mice, okay, if you remove mouse from this food chain and see here, the number of these grasshoppers will increase suddenly, because grasshoppers are eaten by mouse, and that is why the number of grasshoppers will increase and thereby destroying the crops and the grassland. And likewise, if you remove the snacks from the food chain, then the number of mice will increase day by day, thereby again affecting the agricultural crops and the forests. So in this way, if this population of a species is decreased, okay, then there will be ecological imbalance. And in the plants, any disturbance in the native forest, such as clearing of the forest for shifting cultivation, usually brings about change in the species distribution. So we have discussed about the change in the distribution of animals, and change in the about the change in the distribution of plants. Okay. See, due to human activities, if if we burn forests, if we clear forests, if we burn forests for shifting cultivation, then there will be change in the species distribution of plants. And this change is due to competition, where the secondary forest species such as grasses, bamboos, or pines overtake the native species, changing the original forest structure, and this is called succession. Actually, see, this is about secondary succession. Okay, this is about secondary succession, and see here this is an example of secondary succession. See here, when we burn the forest, okay, when we burn forest, then the original forest structure will be totally changed. Okay, after burning the forest, then see in the next year, in the next 1-2 years, then these annual plants may grow. Then after 3 to 4 years, grasses and other perennials will grow. Then between 5 to 150 years, okay, say intermediate species like oak, young oak, and hickory, pine, shrubs will grow. And ultimately, after 150 years, then a mature forest will be grown. So in this way, there will be succession. Okay, there will be succession in the plant species. And see, you must know that succession, actually this is the growth and development of plant life on originally bare earth with a definite sequence of communities. Okay, see here, this is about primary succession, and the primary succession is here. Okay, see here. Actually, for the primary succession, it is started from the bare rock. Okay, from the bare surface. Then after that, on the bare rock, lichens will grow. Then small annual plants, lichens will grow, grasses and perennials. Okay, then after that, grasses, shrubs, shade, intolerant trees such as pines. Then after that, you will get climax community, matured forest. So this is about a primary succession. Okay, succession means growth and development of plant life on originally bare earth with a definite sequence of communities. See here. But here in the book, this is about secondary succession. Okay, when we burn the forest for shifting cultivation, or when the forest is burned by the lightning, then the original forest structure is lost. Okay, and you will get the succession like this, as I have shown you earlier. You will get the succession, okay, like this, and this is what I call secondary succession. So this happens due to human activities, and the ecological balance may be disturbed due to introduction of new species, then natural hazards or human causes. Okay, ecological balance may be disturbed due to introduction of new species, then natural hazards or human causes. We shall discuss it in detail about it. Okay, and the human interference has affected the balance of plants and communities, leading to disturbance in the ecosystem, and such disturbance bring about numerous secondary succession that I have shown you earlier. Okay, that about secondary succession, the picture is also here. This is about secondary succession. And human pressure on the earth resources has put a heavy toll on the ecosystem, and this has destroyed the originality and has caused adverse effect on the general environment. Okay, and the ecological balances have brought many natural calamities like flood, landslide, diseases, erratic climate, and climatic occurrences. So these are the effects of ecological imbalances. So what are the effects of ecological imbalances? Ecological imbalances cause flood, then landslide, diseases. So for example, now we have this COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, then erratic climatic occurrences. All these are effects of ecological imbalances. Okay, so ecological imbalance means the destabilization and the destruction of a fragile environment, often as a result of economic development. Okay, when we overutilize the resources, the forest resources, then ecological imbalances occurred. Okay, so let us learn some more about these ecological imbalances. Okay, ecological imbalance, it causes and effects in the biosphere. You have already known the meaning of ecosystem. Okay, ecosystem is the environment where biotic, that is living things, live and interact with non-living things. Okay, like non-living things means abiotic factors such as coral reef, forest, grassland, farmland, etc. Okay, and about the causes of ecosystem, ecological imbalance. Okay, so let us read. So the first important cause of ecological imbalance is introduction of synthetic products. Okay, so synthetic products are material that are made by chemical processes that are formed artificially by chemical synthesis, such as plastic bags, chairs, toys. And these synthetic materials can last for years and cannot be decomposed by decomposers. We know that plastics cannot be decomposed by the decomposers like bacteria. Okay, decomposition plastics take hundreds and hundreds of years, as you know. And these synthetic products, like different plastic products, are made up of plastic, and this creation of human hinders the flow of materials in the biosphere. So these synthetic products hinder the flow of material. That is the cycle. Okay, different types of cycle: material cycle, gaseous cycle we have learned earlier, like hydrological cycle, nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, okay, carbon cycle. So all these cycles of the ecosystem are disturbed by the synthetic products. Improper disposal is one of the reasons why synthetic products become the problems and the causes of ecological imbalance. We are not disposing the synthetic products, plastics, in a proper way, okay, and that is why it destroys ecosystem that can kill the organisms, and at the same time it causes various problems in the living world such as pollution. Okay, so synthetic products kill the organisms in the ecosystem, and it also causes various problems in the world like pollution. Okay, different types of pollution: air pollution, water pollution, then land pollution, so on. Then another cause of ecological imbalance is the throwing of toxic waste into the water bodies. Okay, bodies of water. See, because of the conversion of agricultural land into industrial estates or residential subdivisions, more toxic wastes are created by men. As you are observing, okay, most of the agricultural lands are occupied by the residential areas. We find construction of schools, construction industries, okay, in the agricultural fields, and releasing toxic wastes into the field. Okay, so industries uses chemicals in making their products, and some industries are very irresponsible in disposing their waste. Some of the industrialists are not thinking for the environment. They are very much irresponsible in disposing their toxic waste material. Some of them even release toxic waste in the bodies of water like rivers and lakes, which lead to death of marine animals and microorganisms. Some of the industrialists are releasing their toxic waste products, okay, maybe liquid or solid, into the water bodies, into the rivers, into the lakes, and thereby leading to the death of these aquatic these animals, marine animals, and other microorganisms. Okay, then a decrease of decomposers can cause delay of material to return from living to non-living environment. If the number of decomposers, okay, is decreased, then there will be delay in the decomposition process of the living things, and it will take time to return, okay, to the non-living environment. And another cause of ecological imbalance is the introduction of foreign species in an area, as we have crossed earlier. Okay, introduction of these foreign species. Okay, as you will find here. Okay, as I see here, introduction of foreign new species. Introduction of new species means introduction of foreign species into an area. So one way by which man affects the equilibrium of interaction in a food web is the entering of a foreign species into areas where there are no natural enemies, and these natural enemies are predators, parasites, or competitors. Okay, so if we introduce a new species in a habitat, then ecological balance will be disturbed. Let us see how. For example, see, in Philippines, okay, in the Philippines, some species such as water hyacinth, the toad, and the golden snail have been introduced, but because of lack of natural enemies, that is predators, okay, it becomes a pest in proportion and outrages into uncontrollable number. Remember, when you introduce a species into a habitat, then if there is no predator, then the number of the species will be increased, and thereby destructing the forest, thereby destructing the this habitat. So this is an example. Okay, likewise it is said that actually in Australia also rabbits were introduced by the British, okay, for fun, but since there was no predators for rabbits in Australia, okay, the number of rabbits suddenly increased, and thereby cutting all the trees, all the jungles of Australia, leading to these desertic conditions, means change to desertic or semi-desertic conditions. Okay, in this way ecological balance is disturbed due to introduction of foreign species. Okay, then another one is removal of predator. Okay, removal of predator, I have given an example also about the food chain. Okay, so here the snakes are the predator of these mice. Likewise mice is the predator of these grasshoppers and so on. Okay, see, removal of predators in the ecosystem is fine, but declining their number in a very low proportion interfere the balance of interaction within a food web. A massive elimination of predators, means killing of predators in the biotic community, can disturb the prey population to elevate the imbalance in density. Okay, so if we remove the predators, for example, if we remove snakes, okay, then the number of mice will increase, as I mentioned you earlier. See here, for example, killing snakes in the field may cause a rapid increase of rat population because deprivation of snake population and other predators of rats. The elimination of snake in the rice field decreases predators of rats, and if the predators of rats are decreased, then the crop will be destroyed by the rats. Okay, then deforestation causes owls to migrate, which is also a rat predator, and this will lead to the dramatic upsurge in rat population of the area. If we cut trees in a large scale, okay, that is deforestation is done, then the owls will be migrated to the other areas. And owls are the predators of rat, and if predators of rat are not there, then the number of rats will increase, okay, suddenly increase, and thereby affecting the ecosystem. Okay, will destruct the fields, grasslands, and these forests. And in Australia, overfishing of the giant triton then causes death of coral reefs, okay, microscopic marine organisms. And this giant triton is a predator of the crownfish, okay, thorn starfish. And so in this way this aquatic ecosystem, marine ecosystem is affected. Okay, so these are some important causes of these ecological imbalances. Okay, causes of ecological imbalances. And about the effects or the consequences of ecological imbalances, we have natural calamities like flood, landslide, diseases, erratic climatic occurrences. It is also given here. See, environmental issues. So it tells about the problems related to ecological imbalance. Okay, the first problem is the global problem. Like due to ecological imbalance, we may have global warming. Okay, rise in the earth atmospheric temperature. There may be acid rain. There may be different types of pollution. Okay, including marine pollution, oceanic. Then there may be depletion of ozone layer in the atmosphere. Then radioactive fallout because of nuclear war. Okay, so in the national level also the same problem may be there. Pollution will be there, degradation of natural resources will be there. Okay, then others conversion of mangrove swamps to fish ponds and salt beds. Okay, because of this, see, it means that swamp mangroves, okay, mangrove swamps destructed. Then community problems also, see, the same problem we will face. Okay, a widespread epidemic in localities, as mentioned in the textbook also. Okay, see here, these diseases, widespread epidemics or pandemic in the localities. Okay, then pollution at the local level, then broken and not flowing drainage. So all these are some of the problems. Okay, and here flood also may be there when we cut a lot of trees in the mountainous area. Landslide also will be there in the mountainous area. Okay, so these are the consequences or the effects of this ecological imbalance. And so we must know that there is a very close relationship between plant and animal communities within a particular habitat. Okay, in an area we have a very close relationship between the animals and the plants, and diversity of life in a particular area can be employed as an indicator of habitat factor, and proper knowledge and understanding of such factor provide a strong base for protecting and conserving the ecosystem. That means if you want to conserve the ecosystem, if you want to protect the ecosystem, then you must have a proper knowledge and understanding of this habitat factor. That is a diversity of life. There must be diversity of species in a particular area, and you must know that. Okay. So any question from your side? Are you clear? Remember, ecological balance is the achievement of a steady state in an ecosystem. Okay, and how is ecological balance is obtained? We have discussed. Okay, and what are the causes of ecological disturbance or ecological imbalance? We have learned. Then what are the effects of ecological imbalances? We have learned. Okay, so if you don't have questions, then let us stop here for today. Thank you very much for joining my class.